Some stories are not meant to be just told. They break something inside a person. And some voices echo across centuries. A bronze bull which turned human screams into the sound of an animal. A ruler, a craftsman, and a city gripped by fear. Today, we will take you to the horrifying yet astonishing secret of Sicily, where the combination of power and cruelty reminds humanity that no punishment ever truly fades from the echoes of old tales. Ancient Sicily, an island between land and sea, had witnessed human fear, greed, hope, and cruelty for centuries. On one side, the blue expanse of the Mediterranean, and on the other, the smoky breath of Mount Etna, reminding that power is not solely in human hands. It was in this uncertain atmosphere that Sicily's story began, eventually leading to a device that gave a new form to cruelty in history. The Bronze Bull. 20,000 years ago, when Europe was in the Ice Age, Sicily was not just an island, but a refuge for hunters and nomadic humans. With fire, stone tools, and the instinct for survival, these people followed deer, wild boars, and birds. Their traces remain today in caves and on rocks, serving as a memory of survival. Time passed, the Ice Age ended, and humans learned the art of gathering along with hunting. In the Neolithic era, agriculture emerged. Fields, villages, and land ownership gave social shape to power. Clay pots, communal graves, and megalithic structures indicate that humans had begun contemplating life, death, spirit, and memory. During the Bronze and Copper Age, Sicily transformed. Metal made weapons powerful, fear became a constant companion, and Sicily became part of the Mediterranean trade network. Foreign travelers, new gods, and new stories arrived, and Mycenaean influences drew it closer to the Greek world. Power became concentrated, and in the shadows of history, the Bronze Bull was about to be born. Perillos was a man from Athens, a city where philosophy, art, and logic were considered mankind's greatest powers. But Perillos was not among those who asked, "Is this right or wrong?" He was among those who asked, "Who will benefit?" A metal worker, sculptor, and mechanical mind. He shaped metal not merely for beauty, but for purpose. In Athens, many craftsmen like him existed, but the problem was that power was divided. There were laws, courts, and public scrutiny. Perillos knew that true wealth and patronage lay where authority was in one hand, where no questions were asked. This search drew him towards Sicily. Sicily, particularly Acragas, was at that time a center of extraordinary wealth and constructions. Foundations of temples were being laid, walls were rising, and a ruler had emerged who was respected less and feared more, Phalaris. Perillos came to Acragas not as a conqueror, but as an opportunist. He first observed the city, read people's faces, and identified the center of power. He realized what Phalaris needed most, a symbol that would elevate his rule above challenge. Perillos did not attempt to enter the court directly. He first made small statues, bronze figures of gods, and delivered them to government officials. His skill could not be ignored. Finally, he was allowed to present himself at the court. Phalaris sat in court, a man with a stern face and calculating eyes. Perillos bowed and introduced himself, claiming that he wished to present a new method for justice and order. Phalaris smirked sarcastically, saying that Sicily did not lack justice, only obedience. Here, Perillos presented his idea. He said that people commit crimes because punishment is temporary. But if punishment were such that it is remembered for generations, crime could be eradicated. He said that fear is the strongest law. Phalaris showed interest. He gestured for him to continue. Perillos described the bull. He said that the bull would be a symbol of power, connected to the gods. If punishment were administered through the bull, people would perceive it not as mere killing, but as divine justice. He explained that the bull would be made of bronze, hollow. A human would be placed inside and a fire would be lit underneath. But the true marvel would be in the sound. The bull's head would contain a system of channels that would turn the human scream into the sound of the bull. Silence fell over the court. Some were terrified, some impressed. Phalaris remained silent, then said that if this were truly possible, show it. Perillos was granted permission, resources, and the aid of craftsmen. For months, the bull was constructed. Bronze was melted, molds were made, and the internal structure was arranged. It was not merely a statue, it was a mechanical device. Inside, rods were placed to prevent the body from staying straight. The door was on the side, lockable from the outside. When the bull was complete, it was brought to the court. In the sunlight, the bronze gleamed. The bull seemed alive. Phalaris inspected it, asking if the sound truly transformed. Perillos confidently replied yes, but it would need to be tested. Phalaris commanded, then demonstrate it yourself. This was the moment Perillos first felt danger, but retreat was impossible. He was asked to enter the bull, only to demonstrate the sound without fire. As Perillos entered, the door was closed. Phalaris ordered the fire to be lit without announcement. Heat spread, a scream erupted, and it changed. It was no longer human. Those in the court trembled. Phalaris heard it and was satisfied. When the fire was extinguished, Perillos was half dead. He was dragged out. Some hoped for mercy, but Phalaris ordered him taken outside the city and thrown off a cliff. Perillos, who had created the instrument of punishment, became its first victim. Afterward, the bronze bull belonged to Phalaris. It was no longer merely an experiment, it had become policy. The bull was placed near public spaces. Before punishment, an announcement was made. People were called to witness, to hear, and to remember. Who were punished? Ancient traditions vary. Some say political opponents, some wealthy citizens, some poets and philosophers. The numbers are disputed, some mention dozens, others hundreds. But every account agrees that the bull's purpose was not quantity, it was an example. Punishment was not merely burning, it was waiting, fear, and the realization that the scream was no longer human. People in Akragas would lie awake at night recalling the bull sound. Children were frightened. The city appeared to prosper, but inside, people were terrified. This was the phase where the bronze bull no longer belonged solely to Phalaris. It became history. Time passed, yet fear in the hearts of Akragas' people did not lessen. Walls grew taller, temples completed, treasures filled, but human voices were silenced. Phalaris considered himself a successful ruler, but failed to realize that fear produces temporary obedience, not loyalty. The bronze bull's sound was no longer foreign to the city. Whenever a punishment was announced, people knew that someone's scream would turn into the bull's sound. Some closed their doors, some watched reluctantly, and some silently gathered resentment. Hatred of Phalaris spread not only among the public but within the court. Courtiers who once nodded at his decisions now exchanged silent glances. They knew the next victim could be anyone. During this time, a name emerged: Telemachus. According to ancient historians, he was a respected citizen of Akragas, educated, influential, and most importantly, courageous enough to openly challenge Phalaris' tyranny. Telemachus did not start speeches among the people. He did not give birth to rebellion with slogans, but with planning. He met people at night, families who had lost loved ones to the bronze bull. In every meeting, he repeated one thing: this bull is not merely bronze, it is the embodiment of our fear. As long as it stands, Phalaris stands. Gradually, time turned favorable. Some troops grew disloyal to Phalaris. The tax burden increased, and most of all, Phalaris began to believe himself invincible. One day, when Phalaris went outside the city to inspect a construction project, Telemachus seized the opportunity. The city gates were secured. Phalaris' loyal guards were either killed or fled. When Phalaris returned, he realized that something had changed, but by then it was too late. He was captured. This was the moment history split into two parts. Some historians say Phalaris pleaded for mercy. Some claim he remained silent until the end, as if accepting that escape was impossible. Now the question arises, was Phalaris burned in the same bronze bull? Several ancient Greek and Roman historians, including Diodorus, Siculus, and Pindar, claim that Phalaris suffered the same fate he had inflicted upon others. In public, in the same bull, the fire was lit, and this time the scream was not of an innocent. Yet not all historians agree. Some argue that Phalaris was not burned in the bull, but was imprisoned or exiled. According to them, the story of the bull might be symbolic, a moral ending added later to illustrate the consequences of tyranny. This disagreement remains to this day. But one thing is certain, Phalaris' rule had ended, and the bronze bull was no longer a symbol of fear. After the revolt, a new system was established in Acragas. The bull was immediately taken out of use. Some traditions say it was melted down. Others claim it was kept in a temple so that future generations would remember what unchecked power can become. During the Roman period, the bronze bull was cited as an example. In the Christian era, it was called a symbol of sin and cruelty. In medieval Europe, preachers narrated it so that people would fear power, not follow it blindly. Every era used the story according to its purpose. But the lesson remained the same. When power is free from accountability, it does not deliver justice, it creates spectacle. The bronze bull was not merely a device of punishment. It was an idea. It was the product of a mind that viewed humans as objects and authority as divine. Centuries later, when historians recounted Phalaris and his bull, the greatest question was not how many were killed, but can a human truly invent such cruelty? Some historians say the bronze bull may be exaggerated, that perhaps the story grew over time, that perhaps it was made horrifying to defame Phalaris. But the problem is that history contains evidence of cruel punishments from that era. Burning people, burying them alive, skinning them, all were real. So why should a bronze bull, technically possible, be considered impossible? Moreover, this story cannot be seen merely as a device. It was a symbol.